Yeah, of course I had to make this review on a Wednesday. If I didn't seize that opportunity, I would lose my right to make YouTube videos forever. Oh, and also I'm gonna let you know this is gonna be a spoiler-free review, because here's how I do it. On seasons that come out all at once, like Netflix usually does, I review it spoiler-free. For seasons that do their episodes week by week, like every other streaming service, I'll usually include spoilers in my videos. This is a Netflix series, it came out all at once, spoiler-free. Wednesday. So Wednesday, like I said, is a new series on Netflix. It's a spin-off from the Addams Family series from the 60s, and one could argue the movies from the 90s. And it's brought to us by Tim Burton. Right there I was like, I'm in, because I'm a Tim Burton fan. So in this series, Wednesday Addams, played by Jenna Ortega, she's enrolled at Nevermore Academy, which is pretty much Tim Burton's take on Hogwarts, and adventures and misadventures ensue from there. There's high school drama, there's a murder mystery. Let the hijinks begin. And I gotta say, man, I thoroughly dug this show. From the get-go, the first episode told me everything I needed to know about this show. Seriously, from the acting to the set design, I was like, this is gonna be classic Tim Burton, and not in the gimmicky way. Cause I know, Tim Burton, he is hit or miss. He has some masterpieces out there, he has some other stuff that's not so good. Beetlejuice is a masterpiece, Dark Shadows, not so much. This series, Wednesday, doesn't really play up the whole Tim Burton gimmicky thing as, like, the whole point of the show. It's not like, oh, look at the cool, twisted Tim Burton-y stuff, and that's the whole reason you're watching this. No, there's more to it than that. There is substance here. The characters, they drive the whole thing. The fact that it is different and distorted and twisted, that's why you sympathize with them. At least that's why I sympathize with them. That's why I love good Tim Burton stuff. This show thrives on that. I will say, without batting an eye, that this is Tim Burton's best work in years. I missed this Burton, man. Now let's talk about Jenna Ortega as Wednesday Addams. Jenna Ortega crushes it in this show. The first thing you notice about her is that she's very stoic, very emotionless. She's drab, she's obsessed with death, which is pretty cool. But then while the first episode was going, I was like, is she gonna be a Mary Sue? Because she seems to know how to do a lot of stuff. I mean, she knows how to speak different languages, she knows how to fix coffee machines, she knows how to fence, she's good at martial arts. But then as the season goes on and the murder mystery starts unraveling, Wednesday starts playing the detective, and then it snapped in my brain, oh, she's like Sherlock Holmes. And right when I made that connection, I was like, she's great. Cause think about it, she really is. She's emotionally disconnected from pretty much the entire world. She's really smart, she's talented, right down to the fact that, you know how Sherlock plays violin? Well, Wednesday plays the cello. As plainly as I can describe it, Wednesday Addams is pretty much the love child of Lydia Dietz from Beetlejuice and Sherlock Holmes. And you can quote me on that. She has that dreary, dark outlook on life that Lydia Dietz does, and she has the deductive skills that Sherlock does. So to argue that Wednesday is a Mary Sue is to say the same thing about Sherlock, and I'm never ever gonna do that. So I'm also not gonna say the same thing about Wednesday. She's a great character, she's very well written, she's quick with a comeback. Some of her quips in the show just made me laugh out loud.
She's allergic to color.
Oh, wow. What happens to you?
I break out into hives and then the flesh peels off my bones.
I love Jenna Ortega as Wednesday Addams, and Jenna Ortega is a real up-and-comer. I've seen her in a few things now, and I think she's got a bright future ahead of her. Great for her. As for the supporting characters, I like them all too. We have her roommate, Enid Sinclair, which when we first meet her, I was like, this girl's gonna be annoying. Cause she is the exact opposite of Wednesday. She's bright, she's cheerful, she's ditzy, most importantly, she's colorful. And she and Wednesday are gonna be roommates. And then I made another correlation that's pretty much spot on. This is Galinda and Elphaba from Wicked. Pretty much. You have the bright, cheery, annoying one, and then you have the darker one. And of course, at first, they're gonna be at odds with each other. Right when I made that connection with Wicked, I loved it. I love the dynamic between the two of them. And then we have other students at this school. Percy Hines White is in the show. I was like, Percy Hines White, I know that name, I know that face, it's killing me. Where have I seen that face before? And so I looked it up and I was like, oh my god, he was Andy Strucker in The Gifted. Wow, he's grown. Good for him getting more work. And I liked his character in the show, Xavier Thorpe. I like Bianca, she starts out as kind of the rival character. So you're thinking, alright, is she gonna be like the Draco Malfoy of the series? Kinda sorta. No spoilers. Now, one thing I haven't mentioned yet is that Nevermore Academy is a school for magical people, like Hogwarts. Now, if we look at the original Addams Family show, it's not like they were a coven of witches. They weren't magical at all, they were just kind of weird. Admittedly, I haven't seen the 90s movies, so I don't know if they had magical powers in there. But in this series, there is straight up magic. Wednesday Addams has psychic visions like That's So Raven and shit. And usually I would understand if someone would be like, oh, they're butchering the lore, they didn't have that in the original. But I mean, it's the freaking Addams family. I feel like with the Addams family, you can bend rules like that. You can make up new things. Because I honestly had no problem with the fact that there's magic in this world. Granted, I'm not like a diehard Addams family freak. I didn't grow up on the series, I've seen a few episodes. So maybe that's the reason why I was cool with it. Maybe if you're a diehard Addams family fan who grew up with the show back in the day, maybe you'll have a problem with it. I don't know. Besides, Wednesday's visions do help her out with this whole murder mystery she's trying to solve. Cause that's really what I'd say this show is first and foremost. It's a murder mystery. It's a detective case kind of show. There's something going on at this school, there are dark secrets that are being kept, involving the legend of this town, and I found it really interesting. I love the setup, I love the design of everything, why wouldn't I emotionally attach myself to this? I love a good mystery, I love Sherlock, I love quippy dialogue. This show has all of that. The mystery was pretty cool. Where I see the most gripes about this show is the high school aspect of it. I've read some reviews that compare the show to a CW show. And I get it, yeah, there is some high school relationship drama in there. But really, given the scenario that it's a magic school, of course, it feels like Harry Potter. I couldn't escape that. It feels like Harry Potter. So much so that at a point I was like, this is the Harry Potter fix that I've been jonesing for since 2011. Or maybe 2016. Even like, you look at the quad and I'm like, I've seen this set, or at least a set very much like it, in Harry Potter. And guess what? There was high school-ish drama in Harry Potter as well. You're gonna knock it for that? No, because that was a big part of it. It's a coming-of-age story. And guess what? So is Wednesday. Wednesday's a coming-of-age story. So of course there's gonna be some high school relationship drama, right down to the school dance, which of course reminded me of the Yule Ball from Goblet of Fire. That was a great scene too. I rewound that scene like 5 times. I turn into a teenage goo-goo muck. I can't believe Jenna Ortega choreographed that dance herself. Props to that. And there ends up being drama in that scene too. Plus a sweet homage to Carrie. I love it all. That's what I can say about this show. It's pretty much, if I had to put it as simply as I possibly could, it's what would happen if Tim Burton combined Sherlock with Harry Potter. That's it. That's Wednesday. Not a bad combination if you ask me. The music. Of course, this being Tim Burton, Danny Elfman had to get his hands on this, and he brought along his good friend Chris Bacon. I love the theme music, man. Lots of harpsichord in this score, which I love. The main theme, of course, incorporates a little bit of that original Addams Family theme. Da-da-da-dun. If it didn't, that would be super weird. There's choir in the score. It's pretty much that classic Elfman feeling that elevates the Tim Burton vibe even more. It's just fantastic. So in the end, Wednesday, I loved it. I thought it was great. I mean, if you're not a Tim Burton fan, then you might not like it. But maybe if you're new to Tim Burton and you don't know a lot of his stuff, this is a pretty solid introduction. If you are a Tim Burton fan, then you've probably watched the series by now. The acting is great all around. I love the story. I love the design of everything. It's textbook Tim Burton. There's heart, there's humor, there's action. The mystery is great, and the score is awesome. The season does leave it open for a season 2. I hope it does get renewed, because I definitely want to see some further adventures of Wednesday Addams at Nevermore Academy. So bring on season 2. Let's have that confirmation announcement, Netflix. So Wednesday, have you watched it yet? What are your thoughts on it? And have you watched the original Addams Family show or the 90s movies? What are your thoughts on those? Whatever you think, go ahead and leave a comment. And of course, thank you for subscribing. Peace.